So 8, 9, 10, 19, 27, 30 with a bonus ball 17 were the winning numbers of draw 1694. And that ticket was sold from the End Sports Bar in Brooks Avenue in Maypen, Clarendon. The second lotto winner in 2020. The previous one, Mr. Walker, G. Walker, not certain if it's Mr. Walker, away with 79 million. And now, this one, another Jamaican wins $95 million. And by the way, you have 90 days to collect it. So congrats, 95 million. And I think they take out, 10 or 15% out of that. So you still get both.
Only per million.
Yeah, you still get about 70-something million. Could I live with that? How much again? 20%.
20%
95, out? So that is 18, 19 million. That 19 from 95 is how much you. Yeah, you can work out that.
Yeah.
19 from 95, that's what I mean. Wonder if I related to them. Me just feel some related to whoever the winner is. Wonder if I Fitzroy.
No.
Fitzroy really. Clarendon Fitzroy really.
So 76 million.
Yeah, 70-something million.
Yeah.
A long time I say it now, 70 million. Don't rate me, no. But congrats to the winner. And remember, you have 90 days and you have to present his or her ticket with the signed ticket to the SVL's Prize Payment Center at Barbados Avenue in New Kingston. So congrats again.
Yeah, the ticket is just as important as the jackpot because without the ticket...
Can you imagine? You can't find the ticket and you know it says you win. No, sir.
You know I watched a movie like that once? They had a ticket and they won the lotto, you know, but somebody lost the ticket. So them have to search all over the place and go every single way to find the one ticket.
But you can imagine if you really and truly. So what am I number them that you can't find the ticket?
Because you know sometimes some people buy numbers and then take the ticket and just put it one side.
Yeah.
And then see the numbers play and they say,
and sometimes you actually inadvertently just throw it. I buy a patty when we used to go to school. You know, you usually take it out of the bag and throw it the bag. When we just take it out of the bag and throw it the patty and put the bag in my mouth. You see, everybody said, me look down, the amount of garbage we see. I couldn't take it back. Me just go stand through the patty and bite the bag. But I hope it don't last. I know it not going to last. And good luck, sir, and spend it wisely. What's the next one?
All right, so this says Jamaica expected to recover faster from the economic impact of COVID-19 than the recession in 2008. So Jamaica presented at the United Nations High-Level Political Forum on Sustainable Development yesterday morning and indicated that the economy is expected to recover within 2 to 4 years and employment within 1 to 3 years following the global economic fallout caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. So that's massive news. All things considered.
It is massive news, but 3 years, why, for some people, 3 years is a long, long time. But, I've never seen anything like this, though. I mean, if we even come out of this, we thank goodness, no matter how long it takes, because this is probably the most, well, not probably, it's the most devastating thing I've ever seen in my life. You shut down the entire world. If you look at the numbers in the United States, I don't want to exaggerate or get it wrong, but I think they had something like about another 20,000 or 50,000 people.
They're over the 3 million mark.
No, but just in one day, I think must be about 50,000 tests positive or something like that. I'm almost certain I read that.
Yeah, that's Florida.
Yeah,
it was Florida.
Or somewhere, I think overall in the States. And the numbers, more than 100,000 dead and, well,
yeah.
It's incredible. So to hear any kind of news that things will be looking up sooner than later, then boy, it is, you're right, that's massive.
Yeah, the statement came from the PIOJ, that's the Planning Institute of Jamaica. They're stating that Jamaica anticipates slippage on the pace of achieving development targets that are being implemented under Vision 2030.
Yeah.
National Development Plan and aligned to global sustainable development goals. So in spite of the challenges, Jamaica reaffirmed its commitment to implementing Vision 2030 and the SDGs.
Yeah, fantastic. Bye. Hopes everything work out for everyone. All right, Director of Public Prosecution, Mrs. Paula Llewellyn, to stay as the DPP for the next 3 years. This was announced by our Prime Minister. In the meantime, the leader of the opposition, Dr. Phillips, had loudly declared no confidence in Ms. Llewellyn's continued stewardship. But the Prime Minister expressed confidence in the ability of the Director of Public Prosecution. So congrats, ma'am, and good luck as you continue in your very, very important and I would think very, very difficult job as the Director of Public Prosecution. So good luck as you move on, man, and I know you're going to do your best.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Other people, you have people on both sides who, I'm not talking political side, people who are for it, people who are against it. But I think the Prime Minister is privileged to information that you and I aren't privileged to, hence why the decision was made to give her 3 more years.
Yeah.
You know, and then to allow her, because her contract expires in, I think it's September of this year, and I don't think that would give enough time for new management to come in and have the...
I think the opposition leader was saying that, and I'm paraphrasing now, almost like her inability to prosecute a lot of the corruption cases. But some things just can't happen. I'm reading that the gang members were...
The ones from Westmoreland.
Set free, and some people are saying, but as the judge said, well, you didn't have enough evidence to...
And that's where
and even if you kind of feel or know, so them guilty, if you don't prove it in court, then there's nothing you can do. So I'm not defending anyone here, but it's not an easy job. It's not an easy job. And again, this is Jamaica for me, you know. For me it's just Jamaica. So me just wanted things right. And whoever can get that right, I don't care which side of the fence you're on, if you can get it right, is you I want there. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all me say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm a Jamaican.
First and foremost.
Yeah. So I just want to see things right. And what I don't like about, especially in politics, and I guess we do it as ordinary citizens too. So I say I don't like that jacket. And instead of you responding to the fact I don't like that jacket, you don't say, well, I never did like yours last week either. You know?
I mean, I like your socks.
You know what I mean, Chef? So every time you hear a politician say, well, I never liked this. I don't say, well, I never liked that over there either. But I don't know if that gets us to where we want to get to.
Yeah, instead of finding solutions.
Yeah, I'm not a politician, so I guess there are things in politics that you need to do. But I don't like that. I just want to see it fixed. I just want to see our Jamaicans living good and, you know. And as I said, whoever can get that right.
Yeah, I agree.
Is me that.
Yeah, and talking about getting things right, Zozo to dismantle gangs in the community of Augustown. So Zozo has been established in Augustown by Prime Minister Andrew Holness because of the urgent need of intervention because the community is a source of crime in the St. Andrew Central Police Division. And this kind of baffles me now because I think it was either last year or 2 years
year before
ago.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
No murders
No
in
murders in
Augustown.
Augustown.
Yeah, and it was a big thing. So I don't know what went wrong.
Well, what Anderson had said, Anthony Anderson, he said that people have infiltrated the community. So a part of their intelligence is that people from different communities have migrated to Augustown and causing havoc among the people who live there, and people are living in fear, so they don't want to speak out about what's happening. So I think the Zozo is part of the plan to have the community members feel safe. But I'm still on the fence about how effective it will be, because if you have intelligence like this, I think you have to get to the meat of the matter. You know, the polishing and the sugarcoating of everything just won't work because the criminals are taking extreme measures. I'm not saying that our security forces have to take extreme measures, but they have to find a way to get to that level where they can act immediately.
Yeah.
Because surveillance is being done, you know, and surveillance is being, they hear that all the time. We're monitoring this, monitor. Well, at what point do we stop monitoring and then we make action?
Well, the security forces, the police, the army, they have such a tough job. I was listening to the late officer Clunis when he said they were just surprised by that guy, you know. I've told this story before that I was stopped coming to work one morning. This is about 4 o'clock in the morning. My windows are always up and it's tinted. And when the police officer stopped me, like my car was here, and he went like all the way over there, and he had his gun, you know, and you could see that he didn't know what was going on. And then he said, boy, roll down the window, and I did roll down the windows, and they spoke to me. But when I drove off, I said, boy, oh, what a job. I mean, this is 4 o'clock in the morning, you have no idea who's in the car. The window could have rolled down and anything started to happen. Yeah. And, you know, boy, I don't know how they do that every single day. My rating is bad, because it is a tough job. And I know some of you get a hard time. But I remember that morning, and when I drove off, I kind of said, well, I couldn't do it. I mean, there's no idea. This is dark. The tint dark. You have no idea if anybody in the car. So.
What I do as a citizen to play my part, when I approach these things, I wind my windows down from the phone because,
I do.
I understand because I have friends who are in the security forces, friends who are in the army, so I fear for them as well. I think about them.
Scary, man.
Because what's in the dark here sometimes makes you afraid.
Scary. Yeah. But we need, and we love, and we have to just stay safe.
Yep.
All right, so that's it for the hot topics. We're going to take a break. We still have a little time, and then we have News in 5 that comes up at 6:30. We don't ever want to be late for that because, quite often people don't watch TV in the morning. They kind of listen and they hear something might come back and peep. So when you hear that the news coming up, I'm late. So we don't want to be late for news because we don't want you to be late. All right? So that comes up at 6:30. Welcome again. Soon come.